Good morning, boys and girls. It is Tuesday, April 28th, 2020. I hope you enjoyed our Monday meeting. I'm so glad so many of you guys were able to be there. I enjoyed getting to hear about your weekend. So today you're going to need your storybook. Today is our final day. We're going to be doing our editing, and then hopefully we'll be recording them soon. And a pencil. And then you will need one rectangular prism today. So pause the video right now if you need to go grab one. So you need some type of rectangular prism. You can see it's got rectangles on the faces, and it's going to be a 3D shape. So go ahead and pause it. I need you to have one of these for later today. So let's jump on in. Just like yesterday, we are doing our long I sound, the IGH. We're going to keep those letters together to make the I sound, and then TION, and makes a sh sound. It sounds like an SH. So let's get started. We are going to be doing our 3-part drill. So we have the TION, like sh, like action, shin. So it has that in. The TION makes the SH and then an N sound. And so we're going to say the letters, or the sounds, I'm sorry, and then what the sound is. So here we go. Ready? I, Z, like cheesy. T, like pretty. R, gl, f, and th. X, ow, bur, ter, ah, x, oi, j, ge makes the J sound, j, ing, ink, ong, oi, ch, f, a, uk, kt, oo, and ow, and o. Okay, so here we go. Like this PT would be like if you said the word kept, kind of has a t, you put it together quickly. Okay, we haven't really done that sound very much. So let's go ahead and get our hands ready. Ready? Here we go. Flute. Flute. Not a word. Flume. Flume. Not a word. Bloom. Bloom. Ooh, bloom is a word, but it's a different spelling. Blue. Blue. That is a word. That's like when you blow a bubble. That blue means you did it in the past. Blunk. Blunk. Not a word. Blong. Blong. Not a word. Blank. Blank. That is a word. Clank. Clank. That is a word. Prank. Prank. That is a word. It means trick. Pray. Pray. That is a word. Prain. Prain. Not a word. Spain. Spain. Ooh, Spain is a word, but it's a different spelling. Spade. Spade. Spood. Spood. Not a word. Let's try the sound. Spud. Spud. Still not a word. Spook. Spook. Ooh, that's not a word, but let's try the oo sound. Spook. Spook. Spook is a word. It means when you scare something. Spool. Spool. That is a word. That's like if you have a thread and you put it around a base, that's a spool. Ooh, I see the zol. Remember, if we ever have that, it's going to be a second syllable. So this is going to be a 2-syllable word. So let's go ahead and do this. Spoo, zol. Spoozle. Not a word. Snoo, zol. Snoozle. Not a word. Fantastic job today, guys. Okay. So remember, we are going to keep that IGH together. As soon as we see it, we're going to underline it. And if you want to write these words down in your notebook, you can do that. So we have the IGH. We're going to keep that together. That's going to be our long vowel sound. So we have the We're going to put the vowel there because that's the first thing we got to do. Now I see I only have one vowel, so that tells my brain that this is going to be a single syllable word. So I don't need to do the line anywhere. So let's go ahead and tap this word out and say it. Light. Light. That's a word. And it's a one syllable word. Okay. Ooh, I see my other words also have this. So I know how to say this word because I just did it. So since you just did it, you guys have that in your brain what that word means. So we know that this word's light, but I want to make sure that it only has two syllables. So I see a vowel, and then this is going to be a consonant and a consonant. And if I have those two consonants together, I'm going to divide them in the middle. There we go. So now I see my vowel is sandwiched between two consonants. So that's going to be a short sound. That's going to be a closed sound and short. So let's go ahead and tap out our two syllable word. Here we go. Sun, light, light, sunlight. What's my word? Sunlight. Okay. Oh my goodness, look at this word. It has two IGH words or IGH sounds here. Okay. So I have my vowel here and my vowel here. And when I have my vowel there, I'm going to go ahead and put my consonant where it goes. So I have my consonant right here. And if I have my consonant right here, I'm going to go ahead and divide it after my first vowel. Remember, we always try, oh my goodness, look at where that word went. Remember, we always try that first, is to divide it right after that first vowel and see how that works. So I know this makes this is open because this would be my vowel. IGH is going to stay together. So let's go ahead and tap this one. Ready? Light, highlight. And you guys use highlighters all the time in class. And so highlight means when you color something in. Here, I can highlight this word for you. What color should I use? I'm going to use yellow. See, I highlighted the word. I gave it some a different color. Okay, so my favorite day of Word Ball. You guys get to your free choice of how you're going to build your words. I love the pictures you guys have been sending me. Thank you so much for sending me their pictures of your word well. So we have a green word this week. We have upon, which means on top of or there. And then we have a blue word. We have wash. This is a schwa sound that makes that lazy vowel. So it makes that ah sound. And then I have water, another schwa a. That's going to make the sound instead of the ah sound. So we have water. So we have wash and water. And then we have two red words this week, once and done. So free choice. You guys can build your word wall any way you want to. Flour, rice, pretzels, alphabet cereal, chalk, spaghetti noodles, Play-Doh. You guys have fun with that. So, okay, so today we have some spelling here, and we just did a little bit with our long I, so we're going to just do a little bit more. And so I have some sentences for you. We're just going to read them, and then I'm going to go ahead and move my circles when you find that I. So I'm going to read it once, and then when I hear when I'm going to read a second time, and when you hear me say the I sound, that long I sound with the IGH, I want you to say, stop, Mrs. Hall. Okay, so that's your job, to yell at the computer. Okay, so I'm going to read it one time, the whole way through. Here we go. Dwight looks out at night. He grips his flashlight tight. It is very bright. The light helps his sight. Okay, so I'm going to read it. You guys tell me when I get to it. Ready? Dwight, oh, you're right, there's one. Dwight looks out at night. Yep, there's my second one. He grips his flashlight. Oh, I almost missed it. Right there. Tight. There's my fourth one. It is very bright. You're right, there's my other one. The light, oh, helps his sight. Sight is my last one. You guys are just still continuing to amaze me. So before we start our story today, I wanted to read you guys our questions so that way our brain can be thinking about what I want to be listening for when I am doing my reading. Excuse me. So number 1 says, what makes this an informational text? Well, I guess we're going to be reading an informational text today. Remember, information teaches you information. Why does the author use did you know and boxes? Okay, so we're going to have to figure out what those are. And then what is the weather like near the equator? We're going to use that text evidence. We're going to go back to it. So when I come to that in that story, this would be a great time for you to be thinking about that. So some vocabulary. Remember, vocabulary are fancy or the bigger words that are going to teach me about specific topics. So I have the word dry. It's a 1-syllable word, so that's why that Y makes the I sound. Rain, snow, and sunlight. And this story is written by Ana Gallián, and she's the author of books written both English and Spanish. She was born in Spain and later moved to the United States. Ana loves animals, especially dogs. Okay, so we're going to be looking for text features and making predictions about the text. So this story is called Seasons Around the World. Today I'm going to read this story to you, and tomorrow we're going to read it together. I would love it if you could read it with me today, but that is completely up to you. If you would rather listen to Mrs. Howell read the story, that is fine. Just make sure you're following along with your eyes. The genre of the story is informational text, so I'm going to assume that the author's purpose was to teach me information. Ooh, look at this. This one has a table of contents. Remember, a table of contents is those chapters or those sections of a story. And it's going to tell me where I can find each section. So it looks like the author has given us 4 sections. That makes sense with the season. So we have winter can be found on page 73. Spring starts on 75. Where does summer start? On what page? 77. Fall starts on what page? 79. And then I'm going to have an index, and we're going to figure out what that index means. And I see that there's different symbols for each of the seasons. Winter. During winter, the days are shorter than they are during the other seasons. In many places, the air gets cold and it snows. Most plants and trees stop growing. Some die. Some animals hibernate. Near the North Pole, the sun never shines in winter. It is dark all day. And then I always go back to my picture after I read my text. So this says, did you know? When it is winter in the northern part of the world, it is summer in the southern part. So in the North Pole, they said the sun never shines in winter. So that means in the southern part of the United States, or sorry, not the United States, the world, it would be the summertime. Spring. Spring comes after winter. In many places, baby animals are born. Flowers bloom and leaves appear on the trees. It can rain a lot during spring. The rain and the warmer weather helps plants grow. The seasons don't change much near the equator. Spring is like all the other seasons. Ooh, there's that word equator. Remember, I heard it in my questions. Did you know? In some parts of the world, there are only 2 seasons, a rainy season and a dry season. Summer. During summer, the days are longer than they are during the other seasons. The sunlight helps plants grow in the summer. People like to spend time in the sun too. This is the coldest place on Earth. Even in the summer, it never gets warm here. This is Antarctica. Did you know in summer, the sun never sets in Antarctica? Fall. During fall, the days start to get shorter again. The leaves on some trees change colors and drop to the ground. Animals start getting ready for winter too. They eat a lot. Some animals store food. In fall, many birds and animals move to warmer places where they can find food. And this globe tells me it's Mexico. Did you know some butterflies travel all the way from the United States to Mexico in the fall so that they can stay warm in the winter? And this index tells me a name of a vocabulary word and what pages I could find that at. And we're going to do a lot more with that tomorrow. So, but this, some of the vocabulary words, it tells me what pages I can find them on are animals, equator, fall, rain, spring, summer, trees, and winter. So let's go back to our questions. It says, what makes this an informational text? Well, what do you think? I think, I remember I have to answer in a complete sentence. I'm going to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do my gestures so I know. This is, I want to make sure I'm going the right way for you guys. This is an informational text because it teaches me about real facts. Okay, so now I'm going to type it. This is an information text because it teaches me about, you know what I need to do, guys? I need to make this print smaller. Teaches me about real facts. Okay, so I'm going to automatically change this to 14. And I'm going to change this one to 14 too. Okay, why does the author use did you know boxes? Well, what did you get out of those did you know boxes? I thought the author used the did you know boxes just to teach me fun facts, kind of like the Who Would Win books. So, and this would be my opinion. I don't know for sure why the author chose to do them. So I think she used boxes to make me interested in the fun facts. So let's see. I think she used boxes to make me interested in fun facts. Fantastic. Okay, now what is the weather like near the equator? It said use text evidence. So I need to go back to that page. Now I don't remember what page the equator story was on, but I know in my index that I can find the word equator on 76. So I'm going to go to page 76, 74, 75, 76. And it says the seasons don't change much near the equator. Spring is like all the other seasons. So what would that tell me? It says all the seasons are going to stay the same. And it also doesn't tell me the temperature near the equator. Now I know it, but the text doesn't tell me it. It does tell me that there are two seasons, the rainy season and the dry season. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to say that the seasons, it says, what is the weather like near the equator? And I'm going to say the weather doesn't change much near the equator. Okay, so the weather doesn't change much near the equator during the seasons. Okay. So we're going to do a little bit more with that tomorrow. So today I have one of your favorites, which is the jump, stump, clap, stomp, jump. And so hopefully you guys are able to do this with us today. I don't have very much space here, so I am going to watch it with you guys.
left foot 2 times, right foot 2 times. When I jump, you jump, we jump. On a count of 3, let's jump. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. On a count of 3, let's jump. When I jump, you jump, we jump. On a count of 3, let's jump. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. On a count of 3, let's jump. Clap, clap, stop. 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 If you came to party, clap your hands. Clap, 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 clap. If you came to party, clap your hands. Clap, 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 clap. If you came to party, clap your hands. Clap, 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 clap. If you came to party, clap your hands. Clap, 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 clap. Left foot to the ground. Right foot to the ground. Left foot 2 times. Right foot 2 times. Left foot to the ground. Right foot to the ground. Left foot 2 times. Right foot 2 times. When I jump, you jump, we jump. On a count of 3, let's jump. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. On a count of 3, let's jump. When I jump, you jump, we jump. On a count of 3, let's jump. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. On a count of 3, let's jump. Clap, clap, stop. 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 When I jump, you jump, we jump. On a count of 3, let's jump. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. On a count of 3, let's jump. When I jump, you jump, we jump. On a count of 3, let's jump. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. On a count of 3, let's jump. Clap, clap, stop. 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 Clap, clap, stop.
Oh, I love that one. Oh, it makes me dance all around. Okay, so today is the day we are going to finish our stories. And so yesterday we added movement and some dialogue and some talking words to our characters. Hopefully you were able to do the same thing. Now mine is on the computer here, so I don't have my beautiful pictures. I'm sure yours are just incredible, and I cannot wait to see them. So I want to jump ahead here to when we're writing our fiction stories. Now, I need you to go ahead and, in your brain right now, I need you to think about a checklist. Okay, did you write a fiction story or a story? Yes or no? Okay, I'm going to read mine to you guys again, just so that we can remember what mine was about, and then you guys can help me edit it. So one morning I woke up to a horrible noise. It was my cats meowing like crazy. It wasn't time for them to eat, but they looked very hungry. Nora said it was Desmond's turn. Uh-oh, you know what, guys? I just realized yesterday we added some movement to mine and some editing on my story. And when I made my slideshow, I used my old version. So because I want to make sure we have all of our edits correctly, I'm going to hop over to my writing from yesterday and I'm going to pull it over. So thanks for being flexible and patient. So I could go ahead and grab my slides from yesterday. There we go. There's the ones I needed. So now I'll hop over to Tuesdays, get rid of my old ones. I don't need those anymore. I'm going to put in my yesterdays. Ta-da! Okay, so ready? One morning I woke up to a horrible noise. I ran out of the bedroom. It was my cats meowing like crazy. It wasn't time for them to eat, but they looked very hungry. Nora said it was Desmond's turn to feed them, and Desmond said it was Nora's turn. It is Nora's turn. Oop, I see don't have my quotation mark there. Oh no, they started to fight. "It is not my turn," they yelled. The cats didn't care whose turn it was. They were going nuts. Mr. Howell stepped into the kitchen. He said, "You need to figure out a plan." Nora and Desmond looked at each other. They decided that Nora would feed the cats in the morning, and Desmond would feed the cats at night. Mr. Howell said, "That's a great plan." Nora opened the cat food, and the cats were finally happy. Okay, so if we go to our editing, you guys tell me, did I write a story? Yep. I wrote a fiction story. It could also be a true story, but I wrote a story. Did I include characters? Yes or no? Yes, I had multiple characters in my story. Did I have a setting? Did I say where it was taking place? Well, I said I jumped out of bed, so I can make an inference that it was at my house. Did I have a problem and solution? Well, what was my problem? My problem was that the cats were going crazy and Nora and Desmond were fighting about who would feed them. So they had to come up with a plan. Did I include movement for my characters? Ooh, okay, this is kind of tricky, guys. Okay, did you feel like my Nora and Desmond were actually like doing things and my cats throughout the story? Did I feel like they were kind of on this adventure? I would say so. And then, did I include dialogue? Now, remember, dialogue is how your characters talk. So did I have anywhere where my characters talked? Well, let's see. I said Mr. Howell said that was a great plan. Nora and Desmond were talking to each other. Oop, and I see this was supposed to be a period in there. Okay, so I would say I do. Now, on here, something else that we don't have as our checklist system here is I need to also make sure, do I have a capital at the beginning of my sentence? And you're going to want to, there goes all my X's, guys. Look at them. I didn't mean for that to happen. I'll slide those over there. There we go. Okay, so do I have a capital at the beginning of each sentence? Now, I had a lot of pages, and I expect that you will too. And so you got to check a lot of sentences in there. Do I have a capital at the beginning of my sentences? Do I have proper nouns capitalized? And what are proper nouns? They're name of people or places or your pets. Do I have lowercase letters? Remember, you need those capitals at the beginning and capitals in the proper nouns, but then everything else should be lowercase. Last thing, do you have punctuation? Punctuation marks. So do you have a period? Do you have exclamation point or a question mark? So you guys have a big job today. I'd like you to make sure that you edit and go through. Tomorrow, we're going to start, I'm going to start just emailing you guys ways that we can record your stories, because I would love to get those recorded. And then I'm going to put them all together with a little movie for everyone to read your amazing stories. Okay, so let's keep going. So for math today, we're going to continue on with fractions. We're going to do another intro to fractions, because I just want to make sure you understand them. But right now, what I need you to do is I need you to go grab a rectangular prism. My rectangular prism is very loud because it's macaroni. So yesterday we did our cylinder, and our cylinder had those three faces, the two flat circle faces and the curved face, and then it had two curved edges, and no vertices, had no points that came together. So now I want you to hold that rectangular prism in your hand. Okay, if you didn't grab one before, go grab one now. Pause the video. So a face, I want you to go ahead and rub the face. The face is that flat, that 2D shape on each of the sides. Okay, so I want you to hold that rectangular prism. Okay, we're going to count the faces. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I miss any? I did. I forgot the one I'm holding on the bottom. And here is 6. So let's do that again, guys. Ready? If you need to put your prism down, go ahead. This is a rectangular prism. But don't forget to count the bottom face. Okay, so I kind of like to rub the face because then it reminds me that it's a face. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So rectangular prism has 6 faces. Okay, now we got to count our edges. Now, an edge is where 2 faces meet. These are all flat, straight faces. So we're going to be counting those edges, which are these lines that connect 2 faces. Okay, so it gets tricky. So we're going to count them. We're going to go from section to section. You ready? Okay, you guys count with me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I counted the edges on the top here. Now I'm going to count the edges on the bottom. Are you ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now I'm not done. I have to count the edges on the going up and down now. 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have 12 edges. Okay, now the vertices are where the faces are going to come to a point. Vertices is a fancy word for corner. In first grade, you call them vertices. Okay, you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are those all the vertices on your shape? No, we got to go over here. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 vertices. Nice job, guys. Okay, so we're not going to watch this whole thing, but we're just going to do a little bit of some more intros, just another way for a different person to explain to you fractions.
What we're going to talk about in this video is the idea of a fraction. We'll see there's many ways to think about a fraction, but first we'll think about the most fundamental. So let's say that I have this square, and this is the whole. We can consider this a whole. So let me write that down. This is a whole. It is a complete square. Now what I'm going to do is divide this into 4 equal parts. So with one cut like that, I've divided it into 2 equal parts. And then with another cut like this, I could divide it into 4 equal parts.
Mirror with words. A fraction are equal parts, same on both sides. It could be top, it could be bottom, it could be sides. Fractions are equal parts, the same on one side as the other.
So there are 4 equal parts. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of those equal parts. So let's say this part right over here. I am going to select that. So the question is, what fraction of the whole is the part that I have shaded in red? Well, it is 1 out of the 4 equal parts, right? I've shaded in 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. So we write this as this fraction. This piece represents 1/4 of the whole. And there's 2 ways that you can think about this. You could view this as one of the 4 equal parts, or you could view this as a whole divided by 4 would get you exactly this much.
So would you guys agree that this square right here has been divided into 4 equal parts? If it's divided into 4 equal parts, then that is a fraction. So right now I want to look at this circle. How many equal parts have they divided this circle into? 2 equal parts. So that's that number right here. Oops. That's that number right here is the 2. Because they have divided this into 2 equal parts. Now we could actually rotate that circle and it would still be broken up into halves as long as we kept the line in the middle of it. So now if I were to color in one part of it, This is how it went out of the lines. If I color in one part of it, how many pieces of this fraction did I color in? I colored in 1. That's why this is 1/2 or 1/2 of the circle. So 1/2 would be colored in. You guys can color in, or you can divide many things into 2 equal parts. So what I'd like you guys to do today, is I want you right now to think about this square here. How would I divide this square in half? I'm going to move this, guys. How would I divide this square in half? Any ideas? Well, I have a couple ways to divide this square in half. I can take my line and I can go across. Would you guys agree that the top and the bottom are the same? I would. Would you agree that these are the same? No, those are not. So this would not be a fraction. This would just be two drawings of a square. So this would be a square broken up into halves. Let's see, can you take your finger and draw, cut that square in half for me a different way? I can go up and down. That's another way that I can divide a square in half. There's a third way. Does anyone know? Let's see. Do you know? If I start up here, what could I do? I can go to the other corner. As long as this triangle is the same size and shape as this triangle, this is equal halves. I can actually go across too if I wanted to with my triangle. So today, what your mission is for math is I would like you to go around your house and see how many things you could divide into 2 equal parts. Okay, that would be making into half. Might be things you're eating. It might be a book you see, and like maybe you just take your finger and draw a line down it. And I want to challenge you to try to do that. Okay, let's see where we are. So yesterday, I gave you guys a challenge of investigating the sun. And so I put it on here for today because I told you that you might have not been able to do it yesterday. So I just want to remind you that in your notebook, you should have a drawing of what the sun looked like when you got up in the sky. Hopefully it's nice outside today or yesterday. And then I would like you to go out 2 hours later and then 2 hours later. And so in your notebook, you should have a drawing of basically the sun 4 different times at different times of the day. And I would like you to try to see that pattern. Tomorrow, what we're going to do is before we do the rest of our science, we're going to talk about what pattern that you should have seen and how that looks. Okay. So what you should have done with the video, or you can do it now, is you should have made your word wall words. This is the most important, guys, today. I need you to edit and finish your story. Okay, make sure you get that done. And then I want you to draw and divide your shapes into equal parts. You can draw them if you want to. If you don't want to draw, you can just find them and divide your shape into equal parts. So you're going to make that fraction. Okay. I'd like you to do 15 minutes of Lexi or Splash Learn. I'd like you to either read a book for an epic or a book to your family member. Please, before you do this, read Mrs. Howell's book, the one I gave you in your Google Classroom. When we do our reading groups on Friday, I want to make sure that you have that read so you know what to do. Listen to Mrs. Howell's Read Aloud today. For specials today, check out PE. Hopefully you got to do music yesterday and then do the Google form for Tuesday. So that's it for today, guys. I love getting to hear about your weekends. Thank you so much for joining me for Monday meeting. I look forward to our new adventures for this week, and I just miss you guys so very much. So I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.